If you're looking for Magic cards, look no further than Flipside Gaming. They have all the latest Magic singles and product that you need to actually leave the house and battle in Magic the Gathering. And right now, if you would like to save 10% on your orders from Flipside Gaming, use the promo code CGB at checkout. That is promo code CGB. Welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we're getting into the color challenge. Next in the color challenge, Simic. Simic was indeed the challenge in the color challenge. You might have been expecting a Merfolk deck. Believe me, we tried. For those who are new, the color challenge is trying to get to 7 wins in a constructed event with a deck of every color combination. And when we got through the mono colors and we just did what was the color that we just did? Gruul. Then we shifted to Simic. All of this is done on Twitch, and then I am making videos with the decks to tell you about them on YouTube. So it took a while. You might have expected a Merfolk deck. Perfectly reasonable. I thought a Merfolk deck would work too. I got to 6 wins once or twice. I got to 4 and 5 wins much more often, but it was very hard. I couldn't seem to break through that ceiling with Merfolk, and I tried a lot of different builds of Merfolk. And then here's what we came up with. It is a Turbo Fog deck without Teferi. Does that make it less annoying? Probably not. To be totally real with you, it's a very annoying deck. It is super weak against Niv. It is super weak against the mono blue Curious Obsession nonsense, but it is still pretty solid against Golgari and other mid-range strategies, and even Red. We beat Red on a few occasions on the track to 7 wins. And without Teferi, you're definitely missing a big piece of the engine. You have to lean on Karn and Tezzeret very hard, but the strategy is the same. Early search for Azcanta, that's why we run 4 of them. Get a Planeswalker down, protect it with Fog, and then flip your Azcanta, or have a Planeswalker activating, and once you have enough mana, and you can do this to gain an advantage every turn, you start casting Nexus of Fate so that you're gaining more advantage from every turn cycle, and then eventually you just never stop taking extra turns. Once the deck gets under 30 cards, in that 30 to 20 range, it's iffy, but you can usually start taking turns and never stop again. As long as you can flip a Search for Azcanta, you're in a great spot. So that's why we have 4, and that's why we have a lot of early cantrips. The deck really, really wants to flip a Search for Azcanta. What are the win cons? Well, once you start going off, you have a few. Tezzeret can make a Thopter army. Karn can make a Construct army. Once you have infinite turns, you can just attack, attack, attack until they're dead. Or there is 1 copy of Drowned Secrets. So if you go into infinite turn land and the opponent somehow nerfed your Planeswalkers or played an Immortal Sun, you can use Drowned Secrets with Nexus of Fate to completely deck your opponent. Now, at some point, you have to pass the turn back to them. So you have to make sure, this came up on the stream, you have to make sure that you have at least 5 cards in your hand when doing this. You may need to hold a land or some fogs or something at the end, because what you eventually have to do is pass the turn over to the opponent, or else their empty library won't kill them. If you can't pass the turn to your opponent, say you have to play Nexus of Fate every turn so you don't deck yourself, then you're in a bad spot because the game is essentially a draw, but you're the one with the endless loop, so you're the one who has to progress the game state. So technically, you should be the one playing that endless loop that loses. But what you can do is, if you have 5 cards in your hand, or I think it's 4 cards in your hand that you can do this. No, we have to have a card in the library. Okay, yeah, 4 cards. So say that your last 4 cards are Nexus of Fate in your deck, and you have 4 cards in your hand, and you want to pass the turn back to the opponent. Stop casting Nexus of Fate, let them build up in your hand until you can discard 1 and it goes back into the deck to 2 hand size. I know, it's weird, and I don't know if I'll be able to show you that scenario. It did come up on stream. It's a little odd, and probably not worth all the time I spent talking about it. Some of you are turning this video off right now because you find Turbo Fog annoying. I'm going to probably mention this during the video. I'm going to try to remember. 2x speed. you can always watch on 2x speed. You got those speed options on YouTube, even on mobile now, which I appreciate. I use them often when watching Magic. So I'll see you in the games. I hope you find some kind of either sick enjoyment or just maybe some tips on how to beat Turbo Fog if you hate it. But I assure you, keep watching. You'll get something out of the experience. Okay, we're in a best of one event, and we're looking at our opener with 2 Search for Azkantas and a Chart of Course, a Nexus and a Snare, and 2 land. It's a keep. We can probably find more land using Search for Azkanta and Chart of Course, and Chart of Course can discard the first Search for Azkanta, making it not such a bad hand. After all, we have basically two mystery cards instead of these. We don't know what they are, but we can be optimistic that the way that our deck works, that it will get us there. And that's what you want to see. We want to play creature decks. I don't have to tell you that a Niv Mizzet is a really tough order for this deck. Sometimes if our life total is very, very high and we can go off and take all the turns with Nexus after they cast the Niv Mizzet, we can deck our opponent, but most of the time it's a horrible, terrible death. Carnage Tyrant isn't that scary. Fog handles it the same way it handles everything else. I may as well draw this. But I also need to fill my graveyard so that Search does its thing, so never mind. Nope, not what I want to play. I want to play you. And wow, Land City. It's possible I should have been keeping another Search for Azkanta in case it gets blown up because I drew so many land, but take your chances. Will it be a Thrashing Brontodon? It will be another Thunderherd migration. This deck has one job. Bigger, faster Tyrant than you. And more Tyrants, of course. Oh, Forest. How about this one? Dude, it's the dinosaur dream right here. Okay, they both got land, which is probably good for us. I could keep you. A little bit of ramp wouldn't hurt. All right. It's something to do with my mana this turn that is productive. Where are we at? Still only 3 cards in that graveyard. And still looking for a Planeswalker, some way to gain incremental advantage every turn. Another gift. I mean, it gets us into that Nexus of Fate range, so I guess it's fine. Doesn't fill the graveyard, which is the awkward feeling part right now. But there you go, 26 life. I'm willing to take a hit or two from the Tyrant. What I really want to use my Fogs to do is protect the Planeswalker. And I think it's totally worth saving them for that. We just have to watch out for falling into Banefire range. So from here on out, we're probably fogging. And there is a Planeswalker right on time.
I'll make use of that later.
Would I like land or land? Yep, it's all there, friends. I'm gonna put an upkeep stop because my plan is to use Nexus of Fate on my upkeep and give myself every possible draw to get back to a Nexus of Fate. Here they come. Let's show the Root Snare. It's fog time, baby. And on my turn, we'll go ahead and Nexus it. And a Chemister's Insight can go to the graveyard because we can cast it from the graveyard. Here is a Hinterland Harbor. Let's plus the card.
Good choice.
Again, an amazing selection. Is that 3 Hinterland Harbors in a row? All right. 5 in the graveyard. And that goes to the library. Lucky pull. Let's do it. You always want to do the Nexus before you activate the Planeswalker. Because Karn might reveal a Nexus, then you could get a Nexus next turn. Choices are tough. They give me the stream instead of the other Azcanta. I guess they don't want me to flip my Azcanta, which makes some sense. Keep thin in the deck, though. Graveyard. That's enough land. Alright. Let's see what Karn sees.
The choices we make reveal who we are.
Some card draw stuff. Let's see what we see with some card draw stuff. No to that. Draw deeper. Another counter. I guess I will. So I want to discard the Hinterland Harbor and draw 2. We can't cast a Nexus from here, but we might hit a land that we can play. Okay. That's something. That's a draw. See how the opponent wants to handle the attack. I would recommend attack with all. Although now maybe they're concerned about Settle the Wreckage because I kept Gift of Paradise up, which is kind of a misplay. On my part, I do want them to attack with all. It can make my win from a less than 100% scenario, making constructs easier in some cases. But let's not overthink it. Let's do another upkeep Nexus moment. And here's a pause for reflection. We'll use the pause because we have plenty of open mana. Might not be the case in the future. Upkeep comes. Let's send off the Nexus of Fate. We will flip the Azcanta because we have the mana to use it at the same time. You wouldn't want to if you didn't have the mana to use it because it would let you get another card deeper on the next turn.
A curious choice.
But this is a good spot. This should be the part where we go off. Our opponent shouldn't get another turn, although weird stuff happens. Magic is weird. Alright, missed the draw step there because I did not mark the upkeep. Life goes on. Let's cast the Nexus before we use the Karn.
Are you certain of your decision?
Alright. Still digging. And there's the Nexus. This time we'll mark the upkeep. How about an opt? To the bottom. There's a chart. Pre-draw, Nexus. It's always more fun for you to go off when the opponent isn't holding priority, so thank you, opponent, for being nice. And with another one, I could start the constructing. I am a little worried about always finding another Nexus. Let me see if I find another Nexus first. If I find another one, we'll do the constructing. Okay, constructing begins. And the opponent has seen enough. I don't blame them. And that is the, some would say cheesy, some would say delightful way that Turbo Fog wins. This is a weird hand. I'm honestly not sure if I'm supposed to keep this. It doesn't have any cantrips, no Search for Azcanta, no Planeswalker, but it does have basically an extra 6 life, some ramp, and double Nexus. It doesn't do anything for a long time, but I'm going to give it a try. This is one of those cases where it's about learning more than it's about anything else. And against Golgari, Vivian Reed is scary. Vraska is scary. Assassin's Trophy is a problem. They have plenty of ways to mess with your combo, but they can't mess with the Nexus itself. And that's the important thing. So if you can get enough land and enough time, plus the fog is pretty good against them, the Nexus will do things. Uh-oh, they missed a land drop. So do I keep fog? Yeah, we keep fog. It's not called Turbo Fog for any particular reason other than, you know, fog. There's a gift. But yeah, keeping fogs is basically keeping extra turns against Golgari. Oh, they don't attack. It's kind of weird. But do I need this many fogs? Eh. Under the same logic, I'll stick with the plan. Hold on. Let's do this. Put them on a basic land in case the opponent wants to start Assassin's Trophying my lands. Wouldn't be unheard of. And we're at 6 mana already. A Planeswalker here to protect with our fog would be wonderful. Basically the God draw. Wildgrowth Walker. Our opponent did find their 3rd land. I'll keep you. Let's start getting deeper in this deck. Okay. I'm gonna drop off the land actually here and Chemister's Insight. I want both sides of Chemister's Insight. And there is another land. Excellent. I think we may start burning these Nexus of Fates just to get deeper into the deck. I wonder if that's wise or not. We're at 3 cards in the graveyard. It would get 3, like, the Search for Azcanta is not as good as a Planeswalker, but we would get 3 activations off Search for Azcanta if we chained off with Nexus right now. But man, would it be a lot better if we found a Planeswalker. I think I might give that another turn or two, at least burn our fogs first. The opponent's thinking about this cast down. You bin that cast down. I guarantee you binning the cast down is right. Now, they don't know my deck. They might be thinking about what I could have. If you see Search for Azcanta, card draw, fogs. Well, they kept the cast down. I wonder what they are afraid of. Another Charted Course is great. Dig that deck. Keep it going. Land can go. 5 cards. Let's pass it back to the opponent. Hit them with a pause for reflection. No reason to fear their top deck. We knew it was a cast down. Are they worried about Settle now? It might be. All right, let's pause you. Uh-oh, Vivian. That's not good. Not taking out the Search for Azcanta. Okay. Well. Huh. At this point now, I'm going to mark the upkeep. We're going to start Nexusing. I need to flip this. So first I'm going to do Nexus. Can't have Vivian killing it. And that can go graveyard. This can transform. All right, draw. Opt. Perfect. Fits the curve. Don't need another snare. Once you get rid, like, Vivian now could blow up Gift of Paradise. I don't think that's a big deal. And now I can save my other Nexus points till a Planeswalker. So what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I use 4 to use an Azcanta and then 4 to play a Karn, I can't fog to protect that card. So there's no point in doing that. Instead, what we're going to do is I will use Chemister's Insight, discarding Azcanta, and I'll, well, can I use that and the Sunken Ruin? No, I can't. So I may as well play this. I'm going to use the Sunken Ruin, and I'm going to cast a Fog. This way I have a backup, and it does help thin the deck with the upkeep Scry effect. And it takes advantage of Nexus of Fate, because every turn you get another Scry. Here comes a Vivian Plus. What creature do we find? What could it be? Memorial of Folly. And a Jadelight Ranger. Our opponent knows the joy, the pure joy, that is exploring with Wildgrowth Walker. And you will not have them do anything different. They will, it keeps on coming. So now what? Opponent's still scared of that Settle the Wreckage. Let's use this. If we end up revealing a Fog, it provides, yep, the tilt. Look it. I got lucky. Isn't that annoying? Again, I understand that the deck is not everybody's cup of tea. Decline the transformation because we already have one Azcanta. Is it time? Is it time to try to go off and get deeper? I would like to wait until I can cast Nexus and... Sorry, trailed off there. But as activating Azcanta and casting Nexus on the same turn. Now, do I want to discard, say, one of my Nexus of Fates and draw it later using this Chemister's Insight to try to get more land? Maybe that's not a bad play. Or maybe I just burn these Nexus of Fates and see where it leads me. Yeah, I'm in favor of burning them. Let's see what happens. Let's see how far we get. Uh-oh, tanking. Could it be an Assassin's Trophy? Assassin's Trophy isn't going to make a lot of difference with the Azcanta Sunken Ruin and the search for Azcanta both in play. More likely they're holding up that cast down anyway, and possibly debating whether or not they should concede the game. Although they haven't seen a win con yet. Or this is just a classic I hate Turbo Fog type of rope. Once again, 2 games in a row. Some of you will hate me for playing something like this, but I do find it important to explore every avenue of the format. And remember, for every... Well, I don't know for sure that this is true. I was going to say for every one of you that hates it, there's somebody who enjoys it or finds it interesting. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what the percentage of people are in the world who love Turbo Fog versus hate it, who love Nexus of Fate versus hate it. I would imagine there's more hate than love, but I know it's not universal. And I'll play plenty of decks that the control players love. I'll play plenty of decks that the beatdown players love. Yeah, but this level of Assault you really only find with Nexus of Fate infinite turn type shenanigans like this, and I'm still not quite sure why. In the end, it's a mill deck. It just goes about it oddly. I'll take land. Let's build up to where we can activate Azcanta. Do it again. And pass turn. And do I keep a Chart a Course? I suppose I can. It's not the worst. Let's see what we hit. Well, we'll eventually see what we hit. For those of you looking to beat Turbo Fog, there are a number of ways to do it. This player in particular, Vivian Reed, should immediately destroy an Azcanta that has not flipped. Ticking Vivian Reed up trying to get to more creatures isn't the answer. Your creatures probably aren't going to win the game, but if you keep the search for Azcantas and the Planeswalkers removed, you'll have a good chance, because eventually the opponent just won't be able to keep getting Fog. Keeping search from flipping is a big deal, and you should either Assassin's Trophy it, or, as the case here with Vivian Reed is, just blow it up as soon as you possibly can. Looks good. Other important ways to beat Turbo Fog, like I said, resolve a Niv Mizzet just as early as possible. If they have no way to get it off the board, and they probably don't, then you will just go on to probably easily win the game, and always point all the damage at the face. Don't worry much about the Planeswalkers when you have your Niv on the battlefield. The only way they can beat you is to deck you with Niv triggers, and the only way that they can do that, the only way that they can really honestly do that, is if you are pointing your Niv triggers at their Planeswalkers instead of face. So they give up second Karn. We're a mana short of Nexus. For once in his life, Karn was unable to provide the mana, so we'll pass the turn. But we've still got the fogs ready to go. Green-black certainly has to provide a quick clock. In this game, our opponent, 1, missed an attack step, and 2, missed a land drop, which is pretty unfortunate. Maybe they're playing Distracted Magic. They also might have a Vraska's Contempt for the Karn, but they know we have another. Okay. And another Walker. At least they might be tapped out this time. I tapped my Gift of Paradise, so there's no white mana. They should and could attack with everything. They still don't. I'll take the damage. May as well save my resources. I love tilting them by making them think I just drew it. It's so mean, but the mind games in Magic, they're fun. All right, I'll take the land. Why not? Like I said, we want to get to a point where we can both Nexus and use 4 mana either on an Iskanta or a Planeswalker, and now we have that, which should be good enough to wrap this game. Don't need another Karn. This should be good enough to win. Just waiting for the moment when I brain fart and decline. Or I actually do transform, I mean, not decline. All right, the opponent will not give me a Nexus. Shocking development. And there's the other Nexus. I should have kept the other Karn just so I could play Karn minus for Nexus if I wanted to, but alas. Never punished. I haven't studied all the ways of playing Turbo Fog perfectly lately, and a lot of the ways that I learn is through making mistakes, as those of you who watch the channel have probably learned by now. And there is a Nexus in the Karn box, so let's use minus to go get it.
Time has come.
And let's cast it again. And again, and again. Dig it up. And nothing else to use 2 mana for. We'll play a tap land. And you can go, I guess, yeah. Nothing wrong with getting 2 more cards deeper. Start with a Nexus. Make the deck thicker. More Nexus in deck. Probability goes up of drawing 1 again.
You may regret that choice.
Would you like to give me the Gift of the Paradise? Opponent refusing to make this choice. No, I don't want to. I don't want to choose. I don't want to. You always have a choice. It lurks up here under Adjust Options. The button is Concede. You could press it. You could press it at any time, and your suffering would be over. Would you like the red pill or the blue pill? Okay, a Gift of Paradise is fun. More mana is good. So we'll put that here. And then we can do this. Another Nexus. Graveyard is fine. Decline. Draw again. Here's the Nexus of Fate. Plus the Karn. We have another one actually down here. Oh, we have 2 down here. So with 2 Nexus in the Karn box, we're doing good. Opponent, once again, denying, just will not make the choice. They probably left the room. They probably exited stage right. You can watch this on 2x speed. Remember that, YouTube. You can go up and hit the 2x speed. You can listen to me talk like a chipmunk. Maybe I should speak in 2x speed friendly vocals for games like this. I wonder what we will do next. I think I will cast a Nexus of Fate, but first we will play Tezzeret and start making Thopters to win the game. That's a good idea. 4 mana available. All right, I'll stop. I can't help it. Maybe some of you put on 2x to see if that was in fact 2x friendly, if it balanced out instead of hearing me sound like a chipmunk. I watch a lot of Magic on YouTube on 2x speed. No shame. No shame. Sometimes the pros, they're thoughtful. They're thoughtful bunches. Karn.
This will aid us.
Nexus me. They're very thoughtful bunches.
I learned a few tricks on Kaladesh.
All right, we'll get that back in the deck. We'll get this back in the deck. It's fine. It's all fine. And chart. And there you go. That can go. Hey, we drew the Drowned Secrets. I wonder what will happen first. Will we mill our opponent or will we run our opponent over? The Nexus gravity is strong here. All right, here we go. Mill you out. We can get a good look at your awesome Golgari deck. It is an awesome deck. I'm not being sarcastic on that. I really like the Golgari deck. Enjoy playing it. I'm going to enjoy showing it to you later, as we got 7 wins with Golgari pretty recently by this color challenge standards. And the Golgari matchup it's a good one. They just don't have much that they can do about our stuff if we can flip an Azcanta. Assassin's Trophy can still be annoying. That's about it. Still declining, still declining. Any more down there? Nope. So we can go.
My device is finished, as are you. There is great power.
If we don't give them choices anymore, they can't stall us. So, gonna keep doing it this way. Thopter attack. Search. Nexus. Nexus again. They have no problem making us play it out, but I have no problem winning. I have a few win cons going. It's not the absolutely bare minimum win con type deck that I sometimes play where we only have one way to do it. We could Tezzeret Ultimate, but there's no point because there's nothing I want to fetch out of my deck.
Some solutions must be built.
If we attack with the Construct, our opponent gets the option of blocking, which they can then use to rope us further. So why not say no to that option? And keep drilling them with the Nexus of Fate. Now we're stacking 2 turns per turn, which we don't need to do too much of. We can probably just skip that part in the near future. I just want to see what will happen first. Mill you or kill you. We're just double racing ourselves.
This will keep an eye on you.
More big creatures.
You stop. Evil cannot withstand a righteous army.
5 attacks. Get him. Again, if we let them rope us by waiting to declare blockers, that's what I'm avoiding. And oh, there is one more Karn. I thought I might hit the Karn, but no, just more of this. And library is fine. Decline. Such a party. Done, and a little more Azcanta. Yep, just fidgeting till the end. Fidgeting till the end. Again, 2x speed, friends. It's a miracle worker on YouTube. No, oops. I didn't mean to hit no attacks. I meant to just cancel once. But now I'm just being a bit of a troll as I'm trying to go through the motions a little faster than normal. Graveyard's fine. Decline. Draw. Pause for reflection. More Thopters.
A master builds with ease.
Now look. I can't get to my Azcanta. Oh! We found it. Just over there in the corner. And there's the Karn. And yep, that's fine, which means our top 4 cards are Nexus. Or top 3 cards, probably. Keep them coming. All right. I'll give you some blocking, roping opportunity, but it's also a way out. I'm certainly attacking you with enough damage to kill you. And we can look at their deck. So going with the Doom Whisperers. At least 2 cast downs. Plenty of Vraska's Contempt, the Explorer creatures. Not a lot of spice. On a podcast I listened to, what is it? It's Top Level. I've been listening to it so long I forget, but it's with Patrick Chapin, and when they see a net deck that's a straight net deck with no spicy one-ofs or anything like that, they just call it soulless net decking. And they don't mean that in a like strictly negative way. It is true. What they consider soul is having cards that you love, or cards that you add for a random effect, or something to surprise the opponent. That's the soul of the deck to them. While playing the best deck is, they don't like, they would call it the brains of the deck, so to speak. The brains is to play what you know is good, and the soul is to add the spicy one-ofs or little interactions. I like the hand. It's a turn 2 search for Azcanta. I'm a little nervous that I don't do anything else until turn 4, and if the battlefield got too far away from me, it's not even good. But I will try it. I will try it. Blue mana. So, Spell Pierce? Nope. Whew! They are making a comeback. I've been Spell Pierced plenty of times lately, so I always get a little more nervous than normal going for a turn 2 search for Azcanta on the play. But it looks like we got Drakes in the house, which could be a good matchup if they don't run Permission or slam a Niv Mizzet. Do I keep a Fog? This is a tough one. I really need like an extra land, but then a Fog to protect a Planeswalker could be awesome. I mean, that's what they do, is they build up to huge Drake attacks. I will keep it, and we'll see what happens. It's not called Turbo Fog for nothing. I'll take the land, I need it. And I'll play this land. And then next turn we slam Karn, hope we untap with it, because 6 is a lot of loyalty. The opponent would need quite the draw to go Phoenix, next turn. They would have to have kind of the perfect mix of spells. So do I take another land? I guess I do need to make sure I get my lands, but I'm confident I will find more. That's what Karn does, right? Draws land. That's what Karn does. Never afraid of counter spells against Drakes. They're normally too proactive to use counter spells.
A curious choice.
Alrighty, the plan is on the battlefield. I think the opponent will give me the Nexus. They know that the Fog could be a problem. And here's Opt. See, I think you have to save that, right? Don't you save that until your turn? Because you need a 2-mana spell and 2 1-mana spells to get your Phoenix back. So don't you save that Opt? Most people, I don't think, are capable of saving an Opt. It just, their DNA doesn't allow it. They have to get their Opt going. Well, that's my land, but Karn draws land, so I'm not worried about it. But I do need to hit my land drop. I'll bin it. I'll bin it. Karn will find one, or I'll draw one naturally. That's all fine. Keep the loyalty high.
Good choice.
Another Nexus and a Root Snare. Are you giving me Nexus again? Yes. Overload the Nexus in hand. All right. Let's pass the turn. If the opponent can't put lethal pressure on the Karn, I'll do the Insight instead. As long as we get to 7 mana with a Karn out, this is a pretty excellent setup. Yep, they're not going for... I wonder if they have a bunch of Lava Coils in hand, or if it's time to resolve a Drake. No? I'm going for Chemister's Insight then. I'm guessing they have a lot of Lava Coils type cards. Radical Idea can go to the graveyard because it jump starts and it can have an effect there. 5 cards in the graveyard. 2 Fogs. Pause for Reflection still in hand. Let's plus Karn.
I'll make use of that later.
The 4th Nexus of Fate. Opponent, would you like to give me the 4th Nexus of Fate? They don't know it's the 4th, but they would assume it's the 3rd. Okay. They've shifted into giving me land now. I don't believe I have another good effect for the turn. And what am I discarding? I'll discard one of my lands. Your move. Six cards in the graveyard. The opponent continuing to pick on Karn, but not moving a muscle. This would be the time to resolve the Niv Mizzet if they have it. Oh, they don't. Or they're not going for it. Let's use the Chemister's Insight. What do we get? I'm going to discard the Pause for Reflection. I think we're a little past the point of Fog mattering, because if we just get to go here, we are going to go. And I'll bring back the Radical Idea too and discard this comes into play tapped land. Alright. Untap. So the opponent could play creatures. It's not insane. I'm not going to use this turn. Well, actually I might. Because I think what I'll do is I'll pass the turn, and if the opponent taps out, I'll Nexus, and if they just keep doing what they're doing, I won't. I can wait. Like, this game is 100% going my way. I can kick back and do this for a very long time. I'm the one who keeps accumulating resources. Our opponent hits land drops, but they're not making progress. Nothing meaningful is happening for them. The only thing bad that they could do is drop a Niv on me. If they do that, well, that's rough. All right. What do we got? You have to discard 2 cards at the end of the turn. So I'll discard you, and I will discard you. Hanging on to Karns is always reasonably smart. Getting multiple activations a turn, making more constructs. It is the win con after all. Actually, yeah, this is fine. And then if the opponent does absolutely nothing, we'll try to Nexus on the end of their turn. The only other trick they could have is a maximized velocity Drake, and even that is not very big at the moment. Let the roping party begin yet again. Have I mentioned the 2x speed button if you need it? Electromancer going face. Alright. Enough of this Karn crap. And my turn? What if I use an Nexus of Fate? What are you going to say about that? Okay. They had to know it was coming. Apparently they had thought out their line very carefully. Upon the beginning of the Nexus of Fate, I will concede and never play Magic again. Alright, we've got a Drowned Secrets, a Charted Course, and a Search for Azcanta. All our lands are tapped, which would scare me, but we are on the play, so I'm not as nervous about it. Let's try it. And, it's going to be interesting sequencing, choosing what to lead with. There's the elves. Let the party begin. Still tapped. Ugh. Feels so bad. Reaper, huh? Well, I don't plan to destroy anything. Okay, so we can play the secrets. And then when we play Search for Azcanta, we kind of get a head start thinning our graveyard. Also, if our opponent has a Vraska that just comes down and kills it, then it sort of saves the Azcantas. So I'll lead this way. We'll see what the opponent has. Very awkward start. I can't wait for the card Breeding Pool from the next set, which is one of the cards that we know will be in the next set, because Breeding Pool is like Sacred Foundry and Steam Vents in that it will then let us do much more fun things and not have all these tap lands. We would have already been another card ahead. Vivian Reed on top is exactly what the opponent needs and wants. Let's go for a Search for Azcanta, which will likely get blown up by the Vivian Reed. The good news is we have another. But the opponent doesn't know that. And keep building that graveyard. Do I discard one of my Nexus of Fates? I think so. At this phase, I don't want too many of those in the hand. It is too bad. But I will put a stop here. If the opponent doesn't blow up the Search for Azcanta, I can opt on my upkeep, and that will flip the Azcanta.
How this thing goes is up to you, pal.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Draw and fire.
Yep, Azcanta's the right pick. It is 100% the right pick. Now we don't need the upkeep stop. There's a Karn, though, but we don't have a Fog to protect him. Let's play another Search. Mill. We're going to need to find some Fog. There goes a Root Snare, unfortunately. We have another Opt. We do keep targeting ourselves, though, with the Drowned Secrets. A Charted Course. I suppose I'll take it. It does get us deeper and deeper. But what I'm looking for right now are the Fogs to go with the Karn. And I don't see one. Gift of Paradise doesn't really save us here. So I'm going to bin it. Here they come. And dead. Yeah, I would say that those tapped lands did cost us that game, unfortunately. I think this hand's totally keepable. We have the tapped land into Azcanta. From there, anything is possible. Second charting of a course is fun. Yeah, opponent showing off some Grixis nonsense. Alright, Karn off the top is nice. Oh, how counter heavy are you? Oh my, we're that kind of deck. Game over. Although I guess it could lower my... in theory, it could reduce my deck and accelerate my Azcanta. And what is my opponent going to get? Cantrips? If they take my Nexus of Fate, that's bad. But if they ever cast it, it goes back into my deck. So they have to cast it only when they would win. And they did not take a Fog. Good choice. And they run Field of Ruin in their 3-color deck. Like, they came to beat me. They know exactly what they want to beat, and it's me. Alright. Gift of Paradise. Let's see if this resolves. Chart a course. I'll drop off the pause. I don't think that fogging the opponent's going to do me much good for a while. Okay, gotta have your mana up, I guess. So I wonder if I flip into a Field of Ruin with open mana. I only want to flip when I can use it. And I don't have a lot of things to do otherwise. Okay, they binned my Nexus, which goes back in, so they didn't take my Nexus. And they tap out for a Chaos Wand. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. What fun we're going to get into here. If I go 1, 2, 3, I can enchant a land and play a Karn. And then I have plenty of mana. Maybe that's not terrible. Alright. Chaos frickin' Wand. This is going to be an event.
The choices we make reveal who we are.
What you want to give me? Shocking. But there is a Nexus down there. If we untap from this position, it could be a mess. So the opponent's under a little pressure. They need to decide if they're going to Field of Ruin this turn, if they're going to deal with the Karn, if they're going to attack my face, if they're going to activate Chaos Wand. There is some pressure on them to make good choices that their parents would be proud of. Eldest Reborn, huh? That's annoying. And there's another Nexus anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. I really need to get something out that takes advantage of the Nexus, or casting it is kind of weak, but things do get worse the longer we sit here. So let's cast it. We have one down here. There might be one under the opponent's Thief of Sanity, so who knows? Another search is good. We do have to remember we have an Eldest Reborn thing coming up. So let's play another one of these while the opponent's tapped low. Let's play one of these. And it looks like we're discarding a land to the Eldest Reborn, which isn't the end of the world. Alright. 31 cards in the deck. Opponent gets to untap, which is terrifying considering they seem to run the perfect deck against me with Syncopate, Chaos Wand, Field of Ruin. But we do have a backup as Kanta if they field the first one. So that's better than nothing. Let's try using his Kanta here. We might hit a Root Snare. Nope. I'll take the Fate though. The opponent should not Chaos Wand before attacking, because if they hit a Fog, it would be really funny. Our opponent does keep thinning out our deck though. That's 2 lands into the graveyard. The Thief of Sanity does have a weird inverse effect if they can't take the Nexus away from us. And there's Angrath to make us discard the Nexus.
No fire, no steel.
Didn't think about that when I was using Nexus. It is, I suppose, a reason not to use Angrath, use Search for his Kanta there. Still, it's so narrow. I'm kind of, it's like, what were the odds? I don't remember the last time I played an Angrath. Let's put that there. And pass the turn again. Thief might just be holding all of our win cons down. Oh, they have our radical idea. Well, that goes to my graveyard. So, thanks. Now I have a jump start option. But they're going to take Karn, I'm sure. Yep.
Evil must not be tolerated.
11 land. So we're at a place where we could play our Karn, and if it resolved, get a Nexus of Fate right away. The opponent's going with Karn Strux. They have a full grip. Be interesting to know how many Nexus of Fates the opponent has taken from me with the Thief. My turn? Did the opponent plus their Angrath? Interesting. Drown Secrets, opt, search for his Kanta. And I have a radical idea? I guess it's better to get an opt, though, than to play a radical idea, and we still might be able to. The opponent could go for Chaos Wand right here. If they hit our Nexus of Fate, they're absolutely cooking. Of course, there's so many things they could hit that aren't very good. Discard that because we don't really need more mana. There it is. There's the Nexus of Fate, but it does go back into our deck. So they got me tapped out. Let's see if they can finish the job. If they can't, things could get dicey, but of course if they have a counter spell or two, everything's fine. Why didn't they make another Karnstruct first? Just missed it, I guess. I think they're going to go off with their Thief of Sanity and our Nexus of Fate if they can get lucky enough to hit one absolutely every time. I would have definitely Chaos Wanded, though. It's just too much fun. I guess it's 2 cards deeper. They're probably sitting on counter magic galore, but they're not even plussing Angrath. This is a true flexing of muscles, a true sign of confidence. Alright, doesn't look like we're going off from here. $15 cards. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so right here, right now, we could try to hit a Nexus of Fate. Let's see what our opponent reveals first. They hit a Nexus of Fate. Okay, they're going for it. So, hold on. I'm going to go into full control mode, and what we're going to do is resolve that. So they have a turn, but it gets shuffled back into my library. I was waiting for it to get shuffled back in. Now we'll try search for his Kanta Nexus, see if it resolves. Oh wait, I'm actually short of mana, aren't I? I'm bad at Magic. Well, in that case, I'm going to decline because I don't want any of my cards discarded, and putting those on the bottom is probably my best hope. Although I'm sure this game is over between Chaos Wand and Thief of Sanity. So let's let the opponent do their thing.
Evil cannot withstand a righteous heart.
In response, we'll try the Insight. Yep, there's the Sabotage. Don't even let me have cards.
No fire, no steel.
If you're going to beat Turbo Fog, this is probably the most entertaining way I can think of to do it. So showing this game is probably just some comeuppance for anybody who really hates Turbo Fog and really didn't want me to be playing it but was watching anyway. This is for you. Enjoy it. Live vicariously through our opponent here with the Chaos Wand, the Thief of Sanity, taking infinite turns out of my deck, using my Karn to beat me to death. Enjoy. My opts, drawing their cards. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So what would I do next if I were them? Well, they can swing for lethal, but what fun is that? Plus your Karn, plus your Angrath, activate your Chaos Wand, cast another Nexus with Thief of Sanity, make me pick a Bolas. That's awesome. That's great. No, the Dirtle is over, unfortunately. Some of you were probably just loving that too much. Good game. If it has to end, let it end that way. Well, that was really something. I know that Fog is a take it or leave it strategy, and some people love it, some people hate it. If you hate it, maybe you learned a little bit about how to beat Fog with pizzazz, like the last opponent did. Bonus points to them for that. And if you like Fog, maybe you'll go give the deck a try. It is not easy to get your 7 games won with Simic, and this is what the measures, the drastic, insane measures that I had to turn to do it. And don't be afraid, and don't be surprised if you get a little bit of salt on you. Not everybody loves it. All right, if you haven't done this already, make sure that you go to the store, make sure that you go to redeem code and type Game Awards. Game Awards. It can be capitalized, lowercase, doesn't matter. It won't work for me because I've already redeemed the code, but it will work for you if you have not redeemed the code, and you can get yourself some free stuff right now. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you in the next video. My YouTube channel is proudly supported by HauntedFlower.com, shipping officially licensed apparel anywhere in the world, and now featuring Magic the Gathering apparel and accessories. If you use the promo code CGB at your checkout, you can save 10% on any order. That's the promo code CGB at checkout on HauntedFlower.com. That's HauntedFlower.com.